Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. Let's start with Chanel, Xander, and Paulina. We'll try not to get too negative, but let's just what am I kidding? Chanel's an idiot. Okay? Chanel is a moron. And my question is, who thought of making this character? Because I know down the road they're going to sit there and try to make her have some sort of redeemable qualities and everything, but like her initial run, I don't understand how people can actually sit there and say that they like this chick. Now, I know one person in the comment section talks about they like her because she's not boring and some other stuff that I'm not going to lie, I can't remember. One of the things was she's not boring. And yeah, it's very important to not be boring and to stand out and everything like that. But this chick is just on some... I swear I think that this chick is 12 years old. Because that's the maturity level that I get every single time I see this thing on screen. So she pretty much blows her whole cover. Well, she pretty much just blows the whole thing. Well, her part in it, but it's saying, Xander, what are you doing? We're supposed to be asking for more, or something along those lines. And I'm just like, you goddamn idiot. So now Paulina is just done with this whole thing. She rips up the little bit of money that she gave Xander, and pretty much told her daughter, you know what, this whole mess, you can clean this up by yourself. Meanwhile, Chanel's like, no, what are you doing? You need to help me, yada, yada, yada. And granted, she does come clean, but at this point, does it even matter? Because, well, you're going to screw your mother out of $5 million because you're a terrible person and you didn't even want to get a job. So, at this point, she's just washed her hands from you. So she walks away, and what does Chanel learn? Absolutely nothing. She blames Xander for the whole thing. Wow, sweetheart. I don't know where this character's going to go from here, because I would sit there and say, you know, you can only go up from it at this point, but, well, with Chanel, you just don't know. So, she says some nasty, mean stuff to Xander, which, by the way, listen, Xander isn't a saint in this whole thing, okay? He's not. He does agree to the divorce, because at this point, I mean, why would anyone in their right mind want to be stuck with that woman is beyond me. But, he finally agrees to the divorce. She gives her little petty, nasty comments or whatever, and she walks off. And, you know, Xander's in there drinking, missing Sarah because, well, let's be honest, the actress decided to leave because of reasons that I'm just not going to get into, but she said it on her Twitter, so it is what it is. I swear, I still don't know what the hell their plans was for Chanel, or why they made her the way that they made her, but, I mean, listen, if you like this chick, that's cool. More power to you. I don't like a boring character, but this character is just, well, unbearable to watch. At any and every point in time. So Paulina talks to Abe, and Abe kind of, you know, says, well, she's young, and she doesn't know any better, and she's trying to find us. You know, just excuses for this chick, okay? But, you know, he says some nice stuff. Paulina's sister says she's leaving to go back to Miami. She's going to come back, so, you know, quote unquote, you're not going to get rid of her. Okay, fine. Could you take your POS of a daughter with you? I don't think she's going to do that. So, unfortunately, we're going to sit there and be stuck with her. So, yay. I can't with this woman. She talks to Eli and Lonnie, which, once again, they can have 5 minutes of having, well, cereal at this point, because, you know, everyone wants to sit there and kind of interrupt them. Tell them about tell them about Chanel and her craptastic plan and how she's leaving for like 2 weeks and she's coming back. And she also tells the babies a secret, which she doesn't say on camera, so I guess she'll come back and say that at some point in time. Chanel is crying like the loser that she is. I'm sorry. At this point, I'm not sorry, because this is the material that this little girl snitty giving me, so this is what I have to go with. So she's there crying and everything like that, and she's crying and everything like that. I'm not laughing at her crying, honestly. She is crying and everything, and Theo walks by, sees her crying, gives her a tissue. And once again, Chanel's like, so, you want to reconsider taking me to, South Africa or whatever? And once again, Theo is like, nah, I'm good. Says that he's leaving, and she's like, she'll work something out, she always does, whatever that means. Now, Theo wasn't there talking to Abe, and, talking about Chanel, and, well, pretty much how, quote-unquote, he's not going to be her meal ticket. Because, told about the whole trying to go back to South Africa with her. With him. Now, of course, Theo is kind of a snake in himself. And I just don't really understand his character. And granted, yeah, not only the fact that I'm calling him a snake for going out with a woman that clearly does not remember her old life before being married, and he's just like, nah, it's fine, it's cool. But, kind of an idiot. Because, once again, he said this to himself. He said this to Sierra. Now his dad is there saying, so what happens if she remembers? And Theo's like, well, if that does happen, and it's a big if, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Okay, Theo. Wow, you know what? I'm just not going to be negative. I'm just really trying not to be negative, but, I mean, saying that out loud just makes me sound stupid. I'm going to put it that way. But he said, quote unquote, he's not going to, you're not going to talk me out of this one. He also sits there and says that, Ben is being really dangerous and kind of just not backing off, which is actually pretty true. I mean, this dude literally lunged at her with a syringe of God knows what, and so, yeah, Theo has a point. This dude is just being all sorts of extra. So he says goodbye to Abe, and then he says goodbye to Lonnie and Eli, and once again, they say the exact same thing. What happens if she remembers? Oh, I already talked about my dad or whatever, and you're not going to get me to change my mind. And, Eli's like, no, we're not doing that. We just want to make sure that you come back for the twins because they're going to miss you. Alright, Eli, I guess I get it. There's no point in sitting there arguing with this guy because he already made up his mind, so why bother to sit there and try? But, well, you two in this room already know that, what he's doing is not only just kind of scumbag-ish, but also just, well, stupid, but sure. Enjoy your trip, and when it doesn't work out, then we can all sit there and pretend not to sit there and say we told you so. And then I think he leaves. Yeah, I think he leaves. So, now, Gabby pretty much initiates to having cereal with Philip. Now Philip is like, you sure? Because I just saw the whole thing go down with you and Jake. You sure you want this? And Gabby's like, no, I'm sure. So you want to do this or what? Philip agrees. Philip agrees, even though he knows that she is, well, at this point, using him to get over Jake. But he's like, all right, fine, I'll play this game because you're hot, so whatever. So they get back to their place, and well, she starts, they start going at it. Start going at it, and at this point, listen, Philip, I don't know about this guy. Philip has surprised me over the course of maybe when he's come back, because there was a time I wasn't watching it, but by the time he's come back, he's really surprised me, because this guy went from me quoting every day of calling him a man-child to actually being a pretty stand-up guy. Because halfway through this whole hooking up thing, you know, Gabby stops it, and she's like, you know, I can't go through this, or whatever, yada, 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 I can't get over Jake. And, you know, she says she's apologizing, but, you know, listen, granted, she doesn't have that much to apologize for, because, well, Philip, you was a participant in this whole escapade as far as what just happened, but it does suck being used, even though if you know you are being used. But Philip is like, you know, listen, it's cool, don't worry about it, and he's even offers her a hug, and I'm just like, wow. I didn't even know what to say at that point. I was just like, wow, that's pretty stand up for you. Most guys would have been, well, they would have been angry, whatever, and you couldn't even blame them for being angry, but he was actually pretty stand up. So, Chloe, listen, I know this guy screwed up with you, but he did try to make amends, but instead, she decides to go with the guy who's already spoken for, so, smart decision there. And I think the last scene... Nope, that's not the last scene. I don't understand how Jake walked into the room and sees Susan Banks, but didn't see Kate just lying on the floor the entire time. I guess maybe the angle on the couch or something. So anyway, Kristen starts doing her whole usual Susan Bank thing, and Snithead's saying, I have a premonition, supposed to be with Gabby, yada yada yada. At this point, Jake is like, yeah, that ship has sailed. That's not happening. So I need to find Kate. Somehow, Kristen managed to stall Jake long enough and point him in a different direction to try to find Kate. So Jake leaves, and Kristen drags Kate through some dungeon or whatever, because apparently there's another secret door or whatever. I mean, secret door, I feel like, I'm probably listening to it thinking, I was like, man, I feel like I'm watching GH, like I'm watching Windermere or something, because they have all these different X's or whatever. Anyway, Kristen's like, well, now I'm going to have to make you disappear like I did Sarah, because reasons that I'm just not going to go into. And the whole time, Kate, I'm assuming it's Kate, is just lying on the ground. And I'm just like, how much did y'all pay this woman to literally lie on the ground this whole time and do nothing? Because that's a dream job. I mean, what I'm doing now is a dream job. That's a dream job. So she's like, you know, it's nothing personal and I detest violence. I was like, really? Really, Kristen? You detest violence? Because every clip that I've seen of you, you're either being violent or threatening violence. So, but you detest it. That's, okay, sure. So anyway, she drags her into this, I don't know, I guess a dungeon or something like that. And when Jake comes downstairs, he's like, Kate, where are you? You have a plane to catch. So I guess somebody else is going to be going on vacation, or, you know, I want to tell you the truth, I'm not going to lie. I really hope that I don't go and try to search up this actress and find out this is another actress that's leaving or jumping ship. Now, with the woman that's playing or plays Sarah, there's an actual reason why she chose to just kind of just take a break and just chill or whatever. But I'm just wondering what's going on with that. Man. Oh, and the last scene, because this needed to actually be a scene, was with Chloe talking to Brady. At first they talk about Bella, you know, and how she's going to be locked up for the night or whatever. So you talk about that, because Brady didn't know what was going on. Which is kind of odd, because I'm like, your parents didn't sit there and call you or text you or anything like that. Like, Chloe had to be the one to tell you about what is that, his sister or half-sister or whatever, to tell you about the news. So, okay, sure. Also, Chloe's not there looking up doctors to try to help Lucas in his failed attempt at trying to woo Chloe and then come up with a brain tumor. Like, just... I don't even know what to say about that. Anyway, she's looking, she's looking online or whatever, and apparently she found this doctor that can come to Salem, that can sit there and take a look at Lucas, because this thing needed to continue for some odd reason, and I don't know if this is their attempt at comedy, whatever, but it is what it is, and Lucas, you really suck at doing whatever this is. And you know what? I almost kind of blame Sammy, because Sammy is usually good at scheming. And you left the plan. Well, to be fair, no, I'm putting this back on Lucas. Lucas had one job, and he failed at that, and this is the best he came up with. So, awesome. So anyway, they pretty much talk, and, at first, when Brady offers, like, hey, you want to come down to the jail with me? Chloe's like, I can't do that because I got a doctor's appointment. And at first, Brady sniffed it thinking it's her. But Chloe's like, no, it's not me. It's for a friend. She doesn't say who the friend is. So, yeah. Not going to lie, I almost kind of felt like that was entirely pointless to actually have Brady and Chloe there. In this whole episode, I was like, this episode would have went the exact way it was supposed to go. But they just felt like the need to just have a time filler, so awesome. And with that being said, let me just double check. With that being said, I think I'm actually done. So thank you for watching. I know this came out super late, and I say this all the time, but for the new people who's watching, or if you if you forgot or whatever, Mondays is usually my late day, and then throughout the week it's business as usual. So, with that being said, I'm going to go. Thank you so much for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Catch you in the next video.